John Cusack movie, great film. One of my first memories, of course, Peter Gabriel, In Your Eyes from that movie. Talk about that particular use of music in that song and how that came to be, because it's, you know, these are now iconic pieces, and, you know, it's always interesting how the marriage is made. So talk about how Gabriel got into that movie on that song.
That specific song. Well, it helps when you've got the director of all directors when it comes to loving music and wanting to challenge and dare and attempt and try anything. And in Cameron's canvas, I had no boundaries, you know, other than to please him, obviously. But our tastes were always been so similar. And John Cusack had come from that Chicago, amazing group, amazing kind of collection of actors there, troupe of actors, and brought most of his friends out, including Jeremy Piven, out, and they were cast as extras in his kind of cohorts in the film. But originally, you know, when Cameron wrote that scene with the boombox, I thought that it was, you know, Romeo and Juliet, instead of being the minstrel underneath, you know, your love's window, serenading.
Sure.
You would do it with a boombox.
Right.
And so when we shot the scene, we had used Fishbone of all things, aggressive funk,
ska,
rap, ska kind of feel. You'd consider that now. And here it was. I remember we had tried so many things across months on that particular scene, and it was very, very important to Cameron. And we went against the grain. And Cameron he came in one day, we were driving, and came in and said, "What about, listen, you know, In Your Eyes, the Peter Gabriel So album." We were always huge fans of Peter's. We've since used, so many of his songs in our films. And at that time, Peter was impossible to secure in a film. And that's where I always got excited, when you would tell me it's never been done.
Right.
Whether it was the Cowboy Stunt Show, or starting a label at 24, or signing Tom Petty against the Yetnikovs and the Erdogans and the Austins. Those are the odds that I always loved.
Right.
And so it was one thing, as Cameron always said, it's one thing to be another guy that would always come up with that idea, but it's another to have that guy that could get it for you. And so I guess I was his ultimate golden retriever, and called David Geffen first. We had sent the script to Peter, and we hadn't heard from him. And we drew straws, and Cameron, we were both sitting next to Cameron, we phoned him, or arranged for a phone call, and finally made it happen. And we were on the phone with Peter, and Peter said, you know, I've read this script, and that song's just so dear to me and so sensitive, and I just don't know if I wanted to place it in a movie about, you know, a guy overdosing. And we went, Peter, what script did you read? And he'd been sent the John Belushi what was that called? Wired? I don't know what the film was actually called.
Yeah.
Gotten them confused.
That's funny.
So he went back, read the script, and boom, called us and went, let's do it.
Right.
And it was, at the time, it was considered one of the more expensive licenses ever. In excess of, you know, 100,000 and American. And we put it in, and it was just wonderful. And we ended up reprising it at the end.
Sure.
In the end, they both fly off to take their trip to Europe together, and it's wonderful how its place in the music.
For more Q Score, please check us out at empowerme.tv to find out what goes on behind the curtain and how the film and TV music gets made. It happens right here. Tune in.